Look, this is the reason why we push for batch numbers. Why is that light flashing? It's giving me a freaking headache. This is why we push for batch numbers because again, it cuts down on a lot of the nonsense of people making stuff up and fake specification sheets on screen paints are basically they have these laws in place to keep anybody from going out and making false accusations about stuff because again it's be pretty messed up world if basically companies were allowed to go out and put whatever they want down ooh, put whatever they want down on their specification sheets or information about their products. This could be extremely dangerous. As I said before, like I said, you can have people going out there talking about all kinds of healing products and false information on medications and just about everything else you could possibly think of that this would pose some serious problems. Navigation equipment that's needed for airplanes and other things that they lied about the performance rate of these products, you would have some very serious consequences. And this isn't just, at the end of the day, people say, well, it's harmless. It's just the paint. It's not harmless because people spend a lot of money for home theater. Home theater is not cheap. People spend a lot of money for it. I go to a lot of these home theater sites. All these people have projectors and screens and chairs and everything else they have in there to set up their setup. All that stuff they had to read through to make sure they were getting exactly what they paid for. So this is the reason why he has until today to remove it, or Monday morning we start the process of basically initially filing against his company about having false information. We have video evidence that was stated back in 2023, where we're noticing this activity on the site and requesting him to remove it off the site, and it should not be there. Unless you have a way to back this up, you have to prove this because again, you can't just put anything on your site that you want to. Now, you call yourself a philosopher. I have no idea why you go to school for philosophy or something. Some people do that, go to school for that. I think when people go to, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like it's kind of like something that you take up for. I'm not going to leave it at that, but it's a more easier, I say, credit to get. But anyway, philosophy. Anyway. If you're saying you're an expert in this field and you go on and on about how you know about this and you know about that and try to use all these big words and try to make yourself sound like you know what you're talking about, you should have no problem explaining to me or anybody on YouTube in a detailed video demonstration of what gain range is supposed to be. Because you have this on your site multiple times on open shopping carts that again any consumer can basically end up buying this stuff and getting ripped off. And to prove your shopping carts are active, we have recent receipts from you on that goopity goo stuff, the stuff you claimed you painted a fifth time, it's slightly brighter, just all kinds of nonsense on that. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be bringing up Monday morning, including his domain site. Keep in mind, Mr. Danny, so you know this from the door, the minute your site goes up on this, they can track your whereabouts, which means they'll go through your IP address, they'll go through the server information where all your information is on. To create this website, they will have your information in no time at all, which means they'll bring you before you'll send out a letter saying that you have been accused of this, that, and the other, and you're going to have to be to defend yourself. And you'll sit before a panel and you'll have to explain to them what this stuff is on your site and exactly if it's real or not. The timeline on how long you had it on the site considers on how big how long it's been on the site. Like we say, hey, look, we can have proof. It's been on the site for a year. We literally have to show proof. So we can show we dated here, 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 and here. I kept a detailed log, which you don't know about, on your site every single month to make sure that if we walk into court with this, we can show we were bam, 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 bam. We were coming to your site and looking for this. Coming to your site and looking for this. The videos were never uploaded to YouTube. These were short videos that we did to back up to show that this information has been on the site for quite some time, long enough to cause significant damage if a company or customer were to pick this up and stating that the individual himself, which we're going to be following on Monday, does not know what this is. He just basically posts this stuff to his site. This again can get you a lot of trouble. Same thing's happening to Fernando on Monday too also. Fernando has sold a product that matched house paint. Clearly we can show video documentary of him being in the video matching the product. He's just going to have to prove to the courts that his product doesn't match house paint. He's going to have to try to convince them that there's a yellowish tone. Mind you, that video is also too on file. So you can show that he actually deleted the video. We have proof of that. Then brought the video back, changed the title of it, and continued to lie to consumers, telling it had a yellowish tone. All that'll be in court. Now, mind you, when we file this, we have to go through the FBI for this, because this is a federal crime. So we have to go to them. So it's completely different than going into a regular court and file for this. Completely, we put all your information in, it goes from there. I'm giving you enough time to remove this off your site. It shouldn't be there. You can't post things on your website that are not true. Now, you want YouTube and all the YouTube community to believe that you're some kind of brainiac, philosopher. Well, that's what you are. Then would you actually have no problem explaining what this stuff is? So you have until today. This video also too will be used against you as evidence in court that we did ask you to explain to us and show us that one screen paint can produce two different gains. And again, a gain that doesn't even exist, which is actually even more interesting, by today. If not, Monday morning we go file. Keep in mind, as I said before, because of your age and the condition of, I'd say, your health, because you don't look like you're fit at all, period. So an area like that, prison system, is not the place you should be at all, period. But when we file this, there are charges that will come up for to go to jail. You may go to jail over this. This may happen. So this is a possibility you could end up in jail. So, as I said before, remove it off your site, man. It shouldn't be there. I'm not going to come in. If you're fearing, I'm going to come in and go, oh, yeah, I got in the move. No, it's not that. It's not supposed to be there, period. Businessman to businessman. You cannot have that on your site. It's misleading your customers. You don't know what that is at all, period. I've been asking you this for the longest time. I've got people and other people that I don't even know that have been hitting your site. And that's why he's been crying about harassment, because they've been asking him a number of things. They've been asking him to send the paint to us. They've been saying they want to buy the paint for us. They've been asking him about what his range gain or gain range, whatever you want to call it. He can't answer it. So his basically only way out is to say, hey, I'm being harassed, blah, 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 blah. So let me get this straight. So anybody, when I ask you questions like this, he doesn't respond back. So how is that harassment if someone's asking you what you have on your site? How is that harassment? Well, you can explain that to a panel at the end of the day, because that's where it's going to go to. And mind you, like I said, this could lead to criminal charges. Making accusations that you are making products from scratch. That's not a charge, but if it's a chemical and you're saying you're not getting it from over the counter, this can pose some serious problems, because now they're really going to have to look into your website, because you could be potentially shipping items through the United States Postal Service, clearly showing these are items that are untested, unbalanced, and unstable chemicals. Because you have on your site, you make them from scratch, and it's not from over the counter. So they're going to want to know where you're getting them from. Do you have a license to have these chemicals? Is your area zoned to have these chemicals? This is where you're going to run into some problems with that. We can clearly show you how to state it directly on your website, so everybody thinks I'm lying. I'm not. There are people that have been on and off his site that have basically read through the stuff we just talked about. And yes, we verified. He verifies it. He says it right there. Parte's premium paints, PSPs, are made from scratch, not from over the counter. Not from over-the-counter paints. So, what are they made from? Because again, everything over-the-counter at Home Depot, Lowe's, Benjamin Moore, all those different places, all that stuff has been tested. They can't get through Home Depot unless you can show some kind of safety material data sheet. If you want to sell your products to them, you have to show that this stuff actually has been tested, it's safe, been through a flash zone, something. So where are you getting these chemicals if you're not getting them from them? There you go. So all that's going to come up. Claiming that the product is rear projection, that's a lie. You have no proof. We've never seen any videos, no demonstrations showing that this particular product shows it has the ability to be invisible. It can go front and rear. We haven't shown anything on this screen over here. If we sat there and said it had invisible capabilities, we have to show it has invisible capabilities. Like that over there. That right there is a technology we made called it's a FRE Invisible Infinity 1. They are invisible. You can actually see images on both sides. They're submersible. We can dunk them underwater. They do this. So we have to prove this as we say it. FLE, ad tech technology. We tell people it has the ability to absorb 100,000 lux of light. Sunlight, direct sunlight. So in order for me to prove this, I literally had to show the screen where you can see sunlight push into the back of the screen and sunlight all around the window pane in the bottom of the window to show the screen was actually absorbing actual sunlight. Because I've seen people made this claim before and it's sunny out. Not sunny, it's cloudy outside. Or the sun's across the street because it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not a direct hit at all, period. That's daylight. I'm outside in daylight hours, not direct hit from the sun. So you have to be specific on what you're doing, because say if you're saying your product is so that can take a direct hit from the sun, and all the demonstrations you have it in are like when it's cloudy outside, or when it's or when the sun's across the street, and somebody buys that and says, oh, it takes a direct hit from the sun, and they try to fire up a demonstration at freaking 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, where the sun is basically hitting the side of their building and it doesn't show up. Guess what that means at the end of the day? That means two things can happen. If the stuff can't be removed off the window and the person may have to go in and install a whole new window, you're going to court. He's going to sue you for the fact that you damaged his window. And yes, he's going to be able to win it, because you're going to have to prove that your product does exactly what you claimed it did on your specification sheet. If not, you lost a lawsuit. You're going to pay for a brand new window. And any form of stress or mental stress or whatever they're going to bring up on it, you'll pay for that too. That's why you have to be specific, and you have to basically be able to back it up. Can't say it enough. This is why I say that be careful of the things that you do in life. They will come back to bite you in the face. This person did a lot of demonstrations on my products. I'm thinking about, like I said, I'm going to sue you for slander. That's definitely going to be coming, because people went through your account. They brought a whole lot of stuff back to us. I don't have time to dig through your account. You did a lot of slandering against my company. You did a lot of demonstrations. So we want receipts on everything. We want proof that you had this product. You will be painting those screens up in the courtroom to show, because you got to pay to back this up. So we're going to have you, here you go, paint the screen up. Show me what you said on your channel about our products. So you're going to have to do that. We can get you jail time easy, Mr. Danny, or what you want to call yourself. We can get you jail time extremely easy. I can get you 30 years extremely easy. But I don't think you would want to be in an environment like that. Even with all the stuff you've done against me, I'm still basically choosing how we're going to go about prosecuting you. Now, this particular part, what's going to happen on Monday, is different, because the government gets involved. And this involves the FBI. They get involved with this. Whole different category. They give you jail time. You'll get jail time out of this. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, again, I can't express it enough. Remove it off the site. Remove the stuff where you're saying you make this stuff from scratch. You can say you make your stuff from scratch. That's okay. That's easy. But don't say, I don't get it from over the counter, because then it leaves like, well, we ain't getting over the counter. Then where the freak are you getting a chemical from? We're not talking about flour, eggs, and milk. We're talking about a chemical. You have to understand, you can ship something, I'm going through this right now, you can ship something overseas. It can show it's water-based from top to bottom. Things can get stuck in customs for almost for months, because before they can let a chemical pass through from A to B, they have to know exactly this thing is not going to cause any hazardous, it can't be used for anything hazardous. They have to know all this stuff. So this is very important that you basically state what your product is and what's in it and so on and so forth. Now, you have to tell them exactly what the chemical is, but that's why you have trademark secrets. But anyway, You still are going to have to give a certain amount of information of if it's water based and is this thing pose a harm if basically if they spill it by accident or someone's trying to use it for something else that it was not designed for. So if that being the case, you making this statement, this stuff would never make it past customs, ever. The minute they look up and see this, they'll research your website and the website and say, wait, this stuff is what? It's not over the, what kind of chemical is it? There you go. And then you'll be getting an interesting letter from overseas. They can expedite you from your country over there to be prosecuted because you have a chemical that they don't even know what's in there. We don't know if it's unstable. We don't know if the heat may trigger it off. We don't know if cold may trigger it off. You got it in metal cans, which is even worse because metal cans don't breathe at all, period. They basically can implode. And when they implode and they suck in all that pressure, that means that lid on top becomes a projectile object, which means can basically, if someone pops the lid, it can take out an eye, do more damage. It could kill somebody. So you can't make statements like that. I know you want your products. I heard you talk, because I don't listen to you much, but I heard you talking that whole thing about calling yourself to be a philosopher. You talk a lot of nonsense. You do. You're one of those people who talk a lot of nonsense and just no leads lead to nothing at all, period. It's basically just talking. That's it. Nothing backs up anything. I'm not saying that to be rude and disrespectful. It just is. It's the kind of personality I've seen off your video when I listen to it. You talk a lot of nonsense at the end of the day. So since you said something about the 38 Black Widow, that's what you spoke about, right? I'm going to have you paint a 38 Black Widow in the courtroom. We're going to see if it does the same thing that you did in your video. And then you're going to paint some black paint. You're going to stick it next to my screen. And I bet you we get the same reaction. And this is going to cost you a lot of money. You very well could lose your house now. I said yesterday we didn't want the property, but judging on the lawsuits that are going to be coming up, and this will be going to a debt collector. We'll be going to the execute judgment on the lawsuit that will be going through. You probably will be losing the house. So it is what it is. You reap what you sow. You're too old to be acting up like this. You're up there, man. You're a pretty old dude. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody of that age, but for him to be that age and carrying on in that nature, come on now. You know better than that. You know way better than that to be carrying on like that. I can see if you had hardcore proof that we are this at the end of the day, then yeah. But to be making things up and to be lying on camera to try to tear down a company that I built from the ground up before you ever existed on YouTube, that's something kids do at the end of the day. That's child play. Little kids do that nonsense. Little puppets and all that stuff, because I've seen you put my face on the cat's body, stuff like that. Kids do that stuff. You're a grown freaking man. You're a grandpa acting like that. So don't say anything about it. You are going to lose your house. That's no doubt about it. You're going to lose your house and your property, just about everything inside of it. They're going to grab at the end of the day. You're going to get sued for $1 million. Now, that sounds frightening, doesn't it? Yeah, it's about $1 million you're going to get sued for. He committed a lot of fraud against our company. I had no idea he was doing that many videos about us. Because like I said, I don't go in to entertain him. I got things to do. Things that may pop up on my feed I may see, I may go address. But the other stuff I don't look at, I don't bother with. I'm busy working. So when they brought back that information, I'm like, well, let's sue him for $1 million. Yep. So unless you got $1 million laying around, and keep in mind, they're going to find the daylights out if you're committed with fraud on this. There's more fines are going to come. These fines can go anywhere to $250,000 for these fines to $500,000. So that's what I'm advising you right now. Remove it off your site. And today, can you explain to us what is range gain? Because again, you call yourself this great philosopher, a person of great knowledge. And keep in mind, let me explain something to you. You can dress like you're a philosopher. You can try to talk like you're a philosopher. At the end of the day, everybody sees it as bullcrap until you can back it up. That's how it works. That's how it works. All those inventors back then, like Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, all these guys back in the day, Unless you had a history of showing proof, and some of these guys would show a history of proof of inventions that they've done. But any new stuff they were talking, they were like, yeah, well, I don't know about that, man. Because, I mean, I understand, yeah, you invented this, invented that, but that sounds a little too far-fetched. You're going to have to back that up. Things had to be backed up by back then. You had to back them up among your peers. Because here's something, then you had your little haters in there talking about, oh no, man, he just added again. Yeah, he can't do that. Are you kidding me? Ain't no way in the world. So yeah, they would start a little stir up among their peers, and they would question your theories and your practices and say, I don't think that's true. I don't think he can do that. You're going to have to go out there and back it up. And then you can come back and go, Eureka, look what I have. Here you go. Look at this. I invented electricity. There you go. So you have to back it up. They had to back it up back then. You got to back it up now. You can't walk around. There's a lot of people walking around very well dressed, speak very well, write very well, and they don't know jack at the end of the day. Not a thing. Nothing. They're just faking it. That's all. It's like building a stack of cards on a wet beach. Just asking for a disaster. They don't know jack. They don't have a solid, sound foundation. Us, on the other hand, we back up everything we do. Tomorrow morning, I got massive sheets coming through here, certifieds coming through here, and we got certifieds coming through. We haven't even tested yet, which is making me excited because I love new challenge. Do you think I'm basically going to go off line and test everything to make sure it works? No, we're going to open them things up and hit them right on the screen as we always do, because that's what we do. We back everything up we do. That's why we have the matching better challenges. This is why we have 11,000 videos and counting. This is why we can back up everything I say out of my mouth. I can back it up. My technology comes from God. Of course I can back everything up. But you, on the other hand, you can't explain this. And I've been asking about this for the longest time. Now, for those you don't know what this is, he's clearly stating that the paint that you paint down, his screen paint, can pull 2 games from the same paint. And mind you, the game we have here is non-existing. You go to Projector Central, you try to find it, it doesn't exist. I've been to forum sites, people are like, who's got a screen that's a 0.85? Do you have any idea how bright a 0.85 screen is? How bright it is? What projector could you possibly use on that thing? You talking about rainbow effect? That's beyond rainbow effect. DLP projectors would go nuts on that. So what in the world would run a 0.85 gain? That's insane. Your projector would have to be extremely low. I mean, you would have to be under the 50 lumen mark to hit one of those things. Because you hit that thing with 3,000 lumens, yeah, you no longer can see anymore. You know the light that would push off of one of those things at the end of the day? Yeah, no. Like I said, that's the equivalence of sticking your face right up on top of your headlights and asking your wife to hit the high beams and keep your eyes open while you do it. That's a super bright screen. So no, that's not true. Where would you come up with those numbers from? And these numbers don't even exist, as I told you before. An 8 exists, not a 0.8. I never heard of a 0.8. 0.85? No. It'd be 85. It'd be 8.5 or 5.8. That would be it. I've never heard of a 0.85 ever. So they don't exist. So what he's saying is that same paint, if you paint it in a different direction, the gain changes. Where would you get that? And mind you, we have proof on the blacklist, because she's on the blacklist right now, where you've made statements and said that the goopity goo paint that you have, if you paint it a 5th time, it gets slightly brighter. So I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense, because you put in 4 applications on this product. So wouldn't that mean if you paint it 1 time, you didn't say paint it 4 more times and it gets brighter, you said a 5th time, which means that every application, the first time you put the first one on, that would have been the regular. But if you put a second one on, that would be like another coat. So that would be brighter. And then you put another one, and that'd be super bright. And you put a 4th one, that'd be super, super, super bright. And then you put the 5th one, that'd be super, 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 super bright. So it doesn't make any sense. You made statements that each one of those coatings serve as a purpose to carry out the screen's performance, right? That's what you said, right? So they're going to break it down, and you're going to have to explain what does each application cause, or basically can't react So does it give it more contrast? Does it give it a heavier black level? How do each one of them work? Because as far as I'm concerned, is when you paint over another one, like if you have a red wall and you paint over that wall blue, it becomes blue. The red is no longer there. It doesn't exist. So how is this surface changing this surface? And how is that surface changing that surface? And what reaction does that give to the projector? So you'll have to break it down. And that's what you didn't do in your video. And that's what's going to be asked of you in the courtroom. If not, you're going to be hit with fraud and consumer fraud. And they carry jail time. Mind you, if you get hit with a consumer fraud charge, they can carry 20 to 30-year prison sentences. And we can show that you've been doing this for over a year. So, today, shoot a YouTube video, make sure it's live, and explain to all of us on YouTube what in the world is this range game. Because I had this on forum sites, and I had people saying that can't be true. Somebody wrote this, and I was like, yeah, they did. They went to your site, they came back, and a bunch of laugh emojis at the bottom. These are people who are gurus in Projector Central, ABS forums. Yeah, they said, no, that's impossible. That's definitely impossible. You can sit up there all you want with a chalkboard, lab coat, and put on a professor's hat, whatever you want them to say. It's bullcrap. That's what it is. I'm calling for what it is. It's bullcrap. I'm calling you out. You're a liar. So what you want to do is you go in and you basically explain to us why you're not a liar on YouTube, and you basically can go to your website and commit consumer fraud. Show us that it exists. Because I find it interesting that when we click here, where it says click here, there's nothing there at all, period. And the video that was previously there talked about nothing about range gain at all, period. See right here, approximate gain range 0.8, 0.85 can vary slight based upon application technique. So we click on here, see here, and see here in before you start. All right, so what are we going to see here if we click on here? Now, I've read through all of this stuff already. I've been through it. I'm not going to do it again. You can read through it yourself. There's nothing says anything here about range gain, not a thing at all. But we need to see a video of it. That's what we need to see. Show me a video of this stuff actually working. And there's no video there. There's nothing there at all, period. Not a thing. Nothing. So you're just making stuff up and just sticking it on your site. Mr. Danny, understand this from the door. Or Danny Rogers, when they call it so. Understand this. We have proof that you were stealing images off of Google. We have it. We have proof that you stole images and claimed you did an installment, which you never did an installment in that place ever. I even contacted them. There's an actual place. I actually was able to reach out to them. You've never been there. They don't even know who you are. I have research your channel to see if you know anything about rear projection technology. There's only one little video of you shooting through a 23 lumen on a screen about that small, and it shows nothing really at all. I've checked for customer reviews. I've checked for testing, everything, and nothing comes up. The testing on this stuff is like, it's nothing. It's like a dark environment, screens majority hitting the floor, stuff like that. There's nothing really impressive about it. I found customers that were upset because the screen came out extremely blotchy, which it's not hard to believe because seeing the demonstration with the goopity goo and that stuff having all that water in it, and you see the reaction of the bubble effect on the surface showed that the paint was pretty much weakened and broken down by all the water was in the paint. Ingredients that you gave out to free for customers, which again can get you in a lot of trouble because it's like somebody, excuse me, giving out an ingredients for let me some water here. Giving out ingredients for like floor cleaner, and they're mixing ammonia and bleach. You know what that makes, right? That makes mustard gas. You can get in a lot of trouble for that. If anyone makes that, you can get in a lot of trouble for it. You went out and you posted showing people how to make a screen paint, and we have it there. It has your symbol on it and everything, where you said that you mix body gel. You know what body gel does and oil does when you put that into paint? Good luck trying to get that off your floor. You're going to be a while trying to get that off there because, again, Even when you put on the roller, it smears everywhere. And it hot spots like crazy because there's oil in it. This is why they advise you, and again, that's why I say doesn't know what he's talking about. This is why they have always advised never ever use a glossy paint when making a screen paint because the glossy paint hot spots like crazy. Jamie did this. He tried to make a paint out of glossy paint. Oil-based paint. No, never do that. An oil-based paint, you're not shipping. You're gonna have a hard time shipping to the United States Postal Service. You're gonna require a ton of freaking paper from the door. On top of that, you spray it through a paint cannon, it does become a bit toxic. So yeah, it's an interesting, and it has a strong smell. They can be pungent, stuff like that. So water-based is what everybody's been using from day one. You put oil in yours. So when you put oil in it, it's automatically going to cause a separation. That's probably what's happening with the other product. The reason why if he puts a powder into it, any kind of pigment powder, whatever, you put water in it, it's going to basically blend easily. That's going to easy blend. That's like pouring Kool-Aid into a cup. It's going to easy blend. There has to be something in it that's causing the separation, and it's oil in it. And if your sister and says that, well, I don't put oil in my product, we have an ingredients that's posted that shows your symbol on it, and it shows you saying body gel. What's in body gel? Oil's in body gel because it replenishes the skin. That's what it does. When the skin dries out, it replenishes it. It's oil. So you put oil in your products. That's what you do. That's what causes all the problems you're having here. He comes on, he tries to say, if you notice keywords, it has a skin-like coating. It's not a paint. It has a skin-like coating. Things he tries to push out there to make it sound like it's something completely new, revolutionary product that no one else has ever made, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. You definitely could be a politician. No one's ever made, blah, 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 blah. And yet it has the most horrible results I've ever seen in a paint. The worst I've ever seen. And then the lies on your page. Again, you can't do this. Say you have a heart attack, God forbid. Say the defibrillator system needed to bring you back basically doesn't work correctly because the people who developed it lied on the specification of what that machine is designed to do. It doesn't do anything what it's designed to do. Can you imagine the horror in that? So that's why if you can't understand Mr. Danny, or Danny if you want to be called, you can't understand the importance of telling the truth when you make a product. Imagine that machine that's used to bring people back to life, to give them that second chance, the company that made it lied about it, and it really actually doesn't do what it technically does. What about medication? Doesn't technically do what it's supposed to do. What about the locks on your door? Security systems, brakes on your car, stuff like that. Doesn't really work, doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Washer and dryers, stuff, your oven. Hey, what about the pipes that run your gas at the end of the day? What if their water becomes brittle, they break down and they fill with holes at the end of the day? Your house is being pumped with gas. See, that's the reason why those particular rules and regulations are extremely important, that they actually work, and whoever writes out the specifications and tests on these products can back it up. That's why they take what I'm about to do extremely serious. So when I make this call, when we begin the process on Monday, we have to have very strong evidence that you have committed these crimes, which you have. So since you have not removed it, and I see here, I will check again on Monday to see if it's still there. And if it's still there, then we go through the process and we can take the next step. Excuse me. What am I drinking over here? We're over here. Alright, you're going to take this. I know you're going to take it the wrong way, which you always do. You're going to take it like, oh, he just hates me. If I hated you, my friend, you'd be in jail right now. I'll be pushing for you to go to jail. I'm trying to keep you out of jail. Because you don't look like the type that's built for it. You're not. You're not. You got very, I'm not saying, I don't know how long you may have on this earth, but the age of man's timeline is like 70. That's it. So anything within the 50 mark to 70 can take you out. Unless you take care of yourself, then that's a different story. You got a better chance. I mean, it can happen, but at least you got a better chance of it all. And on top of that, you don't know when your time may come up. Everybody's not going to be here forever. You never know when God's going to take you back. So you don't know that either. So again, as I said before, you want to enjoy as much time as you have here with your family and friends as possible, instead of basically doing dumb stuff with your time like you just did at the end of the day. So again, as I said before, if you want to take it in a way that you feel that I'm being mean and nasty to you and I'm just doing this because you did nasty things to me, no, you shouldn't have it there, period. It's just basic common sense, man. Businessman to businessman, you shouldn't have it there. That's it. You guys are all bent on this whole thing that I'm out for revenge. If I was out for revenge, then the day I'd just have you on court and get it taken care of and get it done. That's it. I drag my feet sometimes because I try to see if there's other ways that we can get around this. But other than that, I got enough evidence to prosecute you guys for a very long time. You've done a lot of dumb stuff. It's not hard to get you. So if that was the case, Mr. Rogers or Danny, what you call yourself at the end of the day, you committed slander against my company. You committed fraud against my business. I had you on a recording talking about a 38 Black Widow and talking about in this recording about how my product is this, that, and the other. Did a long video on it. I could literally get you on this one. I could get you walking around in your backyard making false statements about my company at the end of the day. Your voice on your property, walking around talking about how I canceled and this, that, and the other, and then fathering that lie by saying that the reason why I canceled because my company is a scam and I can't back my products up. I can get you easy for that one. Got you in a room with 3 other people with my copyrights sitting right there. I can easily get you. I have so many ways I can hit you right now on Monday. So, I'm trying to make it so that you don't end up in the prison system. That you can stay home with your family. You can get house arrest. That would be fantastic. But you are going to pay me some money. I am going to sue you. Other than that, at least you're not in the system. That's fantastic. And depending on what you get hit with, depending on what they can take out of you. So again, it's up to the debt collectors on what they're going to take. I don't have any rules after that. If we keep it at around somewhere $50,000-$60,000, you should be good. If it hits up to a couple $1,000,000, which can easily hit with no problem, then you got a lot of problems on your hands. Because again, debt collectors will take everything and anything. They'll take your death insurance policy. They can garnish your paycheck. They'll take everything out of you. So let's see where this goes. Let's see if we can get this into an arbitration where basically we can get it down. Me and you can have a nice conversation together, and we can have a conversation with the judge and based on how we can basically resolve this issue, and then you can just go disappear somewhere, and you will remove everything and you're going to remove it anyway, but you will remove everything that you said about my company. Also tell me a written apology, because you owe me an apology. You do. You know you owe me an apology. Danny, you can talk all the nonsense you want on camera. Let me explain something to you. You're all being monitored, so you know that you're being watched. But you can talk all the nonsense you want. Deep down inside, you know what you did was wrong to my company. You know what you did. You spread a bunch of false lies about my company. You know that. When you get on your knees and you pray to the Lord to help you, He knows what you've done. So if you got to confess to Him at the end of the day, you know what you've done. So it is what it is. Attacked my company for no reason at all. You got into this whole Jamie thing with him and attacked my business, made up a bunch of false lies about my company to try to father that nonsense that what Fernando was doing. That's what you did. So I'm giving you an option. Option is to remove the stuff off your site before we take care of that. At the end of the day, I can control on what we're going to do to you for slandering my company. I can do that. I can control that. Committing fraud, I can control that. Once we follow with them, it's different. We don't control that section. That's them. They control that. There is their investigation at the end of the day. So don't be stubborn about it, man. Just remove it. Jail time for consumer fraud. It's not good, man. Trust me. Just remove it. It's better this way. Trust me. You're going to force me to do something I don't want to do. You're going to get 20 years in prison. You won't make it. So you understand me? You will not make it in that system. So, remove it off your site. It does not belong there. Unless you can show a video by today that you can back this up 100%. And if you can back it up, hey, I'll talk about you all day long. Whether you like me or not, I'll sit there and back you 100%. Yeah, this guy actually did that. He showed a range gain. I'll have you plastered everywhere at the end of the day. You have to understand, gentlemen, you can't take anything from me. That's what you have to understand. You think at the end of the day that what you do to me is harming my company. It's not harming my company. I'm not losing anything. My company's set to make a lot of money. It's making money right now. So you're not taking anything from me. We do videos that no one else can back up, and we put challenges out that no one else can basically compete with. People have watched me take out certifieds. They've watched me for years. My credibility stands back longer than you guys at the end of the day. I was doing it long before you guys were on YouTube. So I'm deeply rooted. The difference between you and me is when you talk about a tree, my tree goes into the ends of the earth. You, on the other hand, are freshly rooted. A little bit of wind, a little bit of rain, and you fall right over. Me, on the other hand, it takes quite a bit to pull one of my roots out, not all of them. I'm deeply planted in. I've been doing this for years. So again, trying to take something off my table is not going to happen. My company's blessed. No, we don't lose anything. And then we keep developing new technology. I've got blessings today for a couple more screens I want to develop and design. So you don't take anything from us at all, period. So when you consider the fact that if you feel that you don't remove this at the end of the day because you feel that it's affected me or my company or giving me some kind of, it's not. You can make all the screen paints from sun up to sundown to whatever. You still can't touch our company. I got certifieds right now that can't even touch us. I got certifieds coming in tomorrow. So again, as I said before, you're not doing anything to us. But we, at the other hand, can to you easily. Because you basically were so desperate to try to compete with my company, you committed crimes. The other one got an LLC. He didn't need an LLC. For what? For that business? No, he didn't need an LLC for it. He got it anyway because he wanted to be like us because we have an LLC. And he committed perjury in the process of doing so. Now, if he had told the truth, he would have an LLC right now. Working, no worrying about no letters coming to his house. And, hey, look, we need his paperwork, so and so and so. Because they are contacting him. But anyway, as I said before, you got to remove it, man. It's not real. Unless you can show a video showing that you can prove that this actually does exist, which you should have had by now, because the timeline there automatically from the door, everybody knows you can't do it. If you could do this, you would have had a video a long time ago. It would have been there. Excuse me. Give me some water. When I type in ad tech, window projection screens, do you see what comes up in videos? This is us, because we're the only company that has that technology. We're the only company that has front and rear, well, not necessarily has front and rear, but has the capability to do things. Because I've had people contact me and says, look, I've done research on front and rear projection screens. I've never seen anybody do something like the way you've done, because I've done my research on these companies. I wanted to find out how many of these companies could do what we do. So we have it here. It comes up. Ad tech. See my demonstration in the storefront window showing my technology producing at 12 o'clock in the afternoon through a window producing fish. We're everywhere with this technology. This is why we got big companies popping up saying, hey, look, you know what I mean? Look, when this ad tech comes up, you know what I mean? We need to have this whole window done. And I explained to him, he said, well, how much is it going to cost? Well, a window that size right there, that's roughly probably about maybe 20, 30 grand. All right, not a problem. These are companies we're dealing with. They got that kind of money. They're going to spend that kind of money for that kind of technology to advertise their commercials. But you have to be to back this up. So that means the minute this stuff was developed and we had it, the first thing I did was I walked down to that storefront and I stuck it in the window and hit it with a projector. So that way I can take those videos and show proof that it actually works on my site. So when you go in there and you look at FLE Ad Tech, it shows a bunch of videos of this screen absorbing sunlight. But that wasn't enough. I had to come back in 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had to go out there in the middle of a heat wave at every hour and go bam at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. That's why the notifications were going off like nuts, because we were out there testing the screen every hour. And like, okay, we hit 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, there's a cakewalk because the sun doesn't hit the side of the building anymore. It's basically on the other side of the street. Because for some reason, the buildings are lower, and that's why it was a blessing to be in that where that building was at, because the buildings were lower on that side, and the sun was constantly hitting the building all the time. You get a lot of sun on that side, by the way. If they did solar panel, they could literally run that whole building with no problem, which I was actually looking at that too. We got to back all this up. Now, I didn't realize that we were actually running that much light, because I had to go back and do some research and say, look, how much light are we running from the sun to be able to hit 100,000 lux? There it is. There's AdTech, FLE technology, 100,000 lux of sunlight. You have to prove that. You can't just say it and say, hey, we can do 100,000 lux of light. You got to prove that. You got to show actual demonstrations of you out there doing this. If I'm saying, hey, look, we can replace an infinity ceiling. So you spending $10,000 to $20,000 for ceiling setup, we can project it off a ceiling. You can have your lights on at the same time. We have to prove this. It's an actual thing that happens. You can't just make it up. That's the problem you're going to run into. You have to back this up, man. You can't be going and making stuff up. You should know better than this. You're a grown man at the end of the day. You're not a child at the anymore. You don't go out and make things up at the end. They say the land of make-believe. This is a real world at the end. There's consequences for doing this stuff. So the fact that you're older than me, and I'm pretty sure you are, and I have to have this conversation with you as if you're like 5 and 10 years old. I'm pretty sure you tell your grandkids at the end of the day and your own kids that lying is bad. And you're up here doing this nonsense. Come on, man. You know better than that. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, just remove it off your site. Don't get into that pride nonsense. Don't get involved with that. The devil's going to come up there and tell you the dumbest things ever. Oh, don't remove anything. You don't got to listen to him, so and so and so. It ain't about me at the end of the day, man. It's about your personal freedom at the end of the day and how you want to live the rest of your life. That's what it's about. And it's not being done at the end of the day if you feel out of a tactic of revenge or whatever. Man, if that was the case, man, I'll file everything against you on Monday and basically get you locked up for good. And then you don't have to ever worry about this problem at all, period. I can take care of that right away Monday. But I'm trying to make it so that you can still be out here, still gonna get sued at the park. You got to get something out. You got to sue you either way. But at least you can be out. You get your freedom. There you go. But I don't know. So let's see if he gets it done. If it's nothing there, then you don't remove it. I'll go back in and check around Monday morning. I'll come in, check. If it's not there, then we start the process. You know, most people, let me explain something from the door. If they hated you, didn't like you at the end of the day, Mr. Rogers or Danny, when you call yourself in the day, if they didn't like you, they'd have slammed you from the door. They wouldn't have said anything on YouTube. You wouldn't have seen a live stream, nothing at all, period. If I do a live stream, I'm giving you a fair warning to pull it, get rid of it, because it's coming. Just like I told Jamie multiple times that we can have somebody come to your front door and stamp your door. And he thought I was joking. Oh, no one's going to come here. Yeah, we had a process server pin his door. And there's more coming. There's a lot more coming to his front door. I'm not a person that plays around when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I do believe in giving people the opportunity to get out of a situation. Now, some people are smart. They take it and they run. And we will never pursue them. As far as I'm concerned, they don't even exist to us anymore. We're happy for them. They chose a good path. But again, and I explained to him, if you listen to that demon at the end of the day, God will make it so that whatever we do the next time around will be set in stone. There'll be no way around it at all. And then you will live with the regret of why you sit and rot in that cell of thinking at the end of the day that I had the ability to be free and I lost it. And that's the worst feeling in the world. The what if is a nightmare to go through. Everybody goes through the what if. So I believe in giving people a second chance. Now, who knows? This second chance, changes people. They can turn around and basically go, wow, man, I could have came that close to basically being in this situation in my life. It changed. And they may start reading the Bible. You never know. Things may change. They may become a man of God out of that. You never know. Second chance made me a man of God. Yes, sirree. Oh, wrong choice of commands. I love this, man. That's why I have it down there, because I had a hard time trying to find that promo demonstration. Now, see right here, when I put in ad tech, I put in 100,000 lux of light. We got to prove that. See right here, there's ad tech sitting out there at 100,000 lux of direct sunlight. You see the light behind the back of the screen? So when I did the demonstration, I had to make sure the light was piercing through the glass window, and that sunlight was behind the back of the screen. Now, I was talking to a guy about it. He was like, so wait a minute, what's your projector in the background? And they're thinking maybe 50, 100,000 lumen projector to do this. That's a lot of sunlight. I'm like, no, we're at 5,200 lumens in the back. He was like, that's not possible. There's no way in the world you can get 5,200 lumens to read through 100,000 lux of sunlight. And I was like, no, yeah, we did. So I showed him the demonstration. We had the projector inside, and we're showing the projector we're using because we have to be able to back that up. And he said, oh, shoot, that's crazy. Yeah, I said, but here's the crazy part about it. This technology is 60%. That's the 60% technology. Now you see how clear everything comes up? The glare comes from the projector on the opposite side, but the screen is picking up everything. Yeah. So with that being said, having a projection screen that can do that, imagine the TV version of it. The TV version can go anywhere it wants to go. That means you can be in the studio, you can have all your lights on from left to right, you can have it super bright in there, and that thing will pick up with no problem. Yep. So, yeah, you have to back that up. Can't just come out there and just say, hey, I got a screen that absorbs sunlight. Now, freaking crazy that sounds. At the end of the day, we said it to people, and they look at us like, I like that doubt. I do like the doubt, though. When they give me a look like, no, you guys are doing too much. No, dead serious. We had this. Like, we literally have screens that can take in sunlight. And I showed them the video. They were like, oh, shoot, what the freak? Like, what are you doing with this stuff? I was like, yeah, we got plans for it. We're going to make it into basically advertising technology, and then we're going to convert it over into a kind of a movie indoor screen and outdoor screen for commercial use and for residential. So it's pretty cool. Burning down the avenue, around the sunshine. Yep, we got it. We're the only company in the world that has that technology. I checked. I did the research. Other people did the research for us too. We are the only company that has it. And then I realized that at 12 o'clock, we were actually over 100,000 lux. We were hitting 120,000 lux because it's more concentrated light, which I researched all that. So you fluctuate between 100 to 120,000 lux of light. But anyway, as I said before, you have to back this up. You can't make statements up. You have to back everything up. Because if you don't, it falls in the line of consumer fraud, and it's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Now, also, too, if you're making false statements about a company, which you did, Danny, multiple times against my company, you're going to have to back this up in court because you can get sued for a lot of money. And if you're doing it on YouTube and does this on social media talking about our company, we can get you jail time. Very easy. Because that means you committed fraud against my company. And you were directing my company in those video demonstrations. So I can get you 20, 30 years extremely easy. But I'm willing to waiver that and give you and just sue you instead. But this, what we have to do on Monday morning, is a different story. Once we file that, it's done. It's ready to go. So I do advise you. No one's ordering you and commanding you, because I don't want you to feel like you're being ordered and command. You're being asked to remove it off the site. Number one, it should have never been there to begin with, because you have no proof that this stuff actually does exist. You can't make statements that your products are, you can say they're made by scratch, But you can't put in statements that they're not over the counter, because again, if it's not over the counter, then where are you getting these chemicals from? It leaves a lot of red flags. You definitely don't want that there. Last thing you want is Homeland Security popping up on your property. So you don't want that. The rear projection capabilities, you're going to have to prove that. It's a lot of testing and demonstrations needed to be able to do rear projection. You know, like I said, it's a very expensive surface. It's a surface you don't want to mess up. You can be sued for messing up the surface. See that storefront glass? A storefront glass costs thousands of dollars. We coated that stuff to that glass, and that sun couldn't push through, and that window became super dark, and they couldn't see anything. Guess what? We got to pay for that. So we have to make sure it's going to work. So you have to know something about rear projection in order to be able to advertise that kind of technology. And just having one demonstration on a little cardboard screen, whatever that thing was, at 20 front, you can't do that. You have to have dozens of these videos, and I mean dozens. So when people go check us out, they look at all these videos. This is all rear projection technology. We have rear projection technology that pushes all the way back 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So we've been designing it for that long. Hey, it's my Tron screen outside. This is all rear projection. I've done so much on rear projection, it's not even funny. So that's what they'll do. They'll go in and they'll research to see exactly. Oh, Future Tech 4K. I remember this technology. This stuff is pretty cool too. But now we have the new one coming up. Contrast level. That's rear projection. You have to be able to push white light through the screen, but cancel out 100% of the lamp glare at the same time to do it. And this has to be done inside, outside, multiple projectors, all that stuff. So we can make rear projection OLEDs. And we've been doing this for years. I love rear projection technology. And one of the tests you have to do with rear projection, you have to own venues. The reason why you own venues is because you have to take the venue projector and you have to stick it right up on top of the screen to see how much of the lamp glare. Get out of here. Get. Now, remember I told you 10 years back? New digital crystal screen paint, rear projection screen paint. What does it say on the date? It's 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we had that technology. So we've been doing it for years. So companies that go back and go, gee whiz, these guys span back 10 years on this technology. These are all videos on rear. All you would have to do is go in and type in rear and boom, there we are. That's the first look at what the screen called ambient light rejection smoke 10. This is the first screen that we had that basically absorbed sunlight. Rear projection screen acoustic technology. I got people out there talking about they know acoustic. You don't know acoustic at the end of the day. You don't have enough demonstrations for acoustic. You got to have at least about minimum of 20 demonstrations on stuff. You know, you have to. It's very important. This is a screen we developed for a nightclub.
We're talking about
They have to operate in fully lit environments. They have to operate with the lights off. They want to see all that when we're showing off the technology. Images got to come up bright. They got to come up sharp. They got to be vivid. If you notice, the screen is designed to absorb light. So if you notice behind the back of the screen, all the light's pushing. That's the white side of it. So we don't coat the white side. We coat the black side. So the technology we developed is called an activator. So the activator can convert any black surface into our high-tech technology, which means we would use less paint to apply the surface. So you got to be to think when you develop technology. If you develop a surface like this, like these, we make our own surfaces right here for this. So if we do the white side uses so much paint, especially to get it to bleed through. But when we design an activator that can convert any black surface into a screen, then we just have to basically just dust the side of this and it automatically triggers it off, which means use less paint, less time, drive 10 times faster, has higher results. So when you're using a screen for visual effects, and if it's white, this is the light. You're literally splashing all over your back of your environment. With the black technology we developed, it's designed to absorb it. That's why it's dark on one side and bright on the other. And that's why you have to know all that stuff. Well, people, I want to go. I don't want to make this video overtime here, but just want to basically make it short and sweet. And just I'm just looking at some of the stuff I've done. And some of the stuff we put together. It's another rear projection screen. That's actually a panel that they use for basically when they had for COVID. We converted one of those into a projection screen. Looking for something real quick. So beautiful the image comes up. That's why you never roll them in. That's why I know you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to rear projection, because you said roll. You can't roll a rear projection screen in. You'll damage the screen. You'll mess it up. So that's what we had to do. When my projector's sitting way over there. But that's what we had to do. We're going to roll. We roll one section on our sheet we have here, and then the second one we basically we sprayed in. So that way, when we're doing business with companies, when we put down a statement like, look, don't roll this in because you'll damage the screen, you have to be to tell them why. Not only tell them why, show them why you don't do this. That's another thing I see a lot on people who make these products is you don't explain why. You don't show why. You just leave it at that. When you want to make it sound like it's so complicated, so complex, that's why you say it that way. You have to show why, because they need to see that. So we have one surface we roll over with several types of rollers. We do the foam rollers, we use the gnat rollers to show what happens, what the reaction is, and then we show when they're sprayed over. Then we have to show them a demonstration of a spraying over the surface to show how easy it is to spray of the application on. You have to have those. That alone right there is like 4 videos. Which you have to have those. Very important. How come that's not on? Because that's actually hooked up to that. Finally got to make a stand for my screen over there. All right, let me see. Yeah, that's fired up over there. There we go. See? We know rear projection. We do this stuff all day long. This is what we do. I've been doing this for years. I'll go back 10 years I've been doing this stuff. So I've learned to basically engineer all kinds of stuff. Let me see. Made this nice little box set up so I can put my screen in there real nicely, and I can set my projector up and then basically show it off. And cardboard boxes come in handy. Can't find a stand like this. Can't find a stand anywhere. So I was like, I'll just use 2 small boxes and do it that way. And it actually worked out quite nicely. Running down the avenue, right down the sun. Now, when you're doing rear, there's something called a clean transfer. You have to show, when you show an all-white screen, that when the image transfers through, it has, let me show a better way to do it so you can see right here, give you an understanding. Because this one right here, this surface was rolled in. These are sample surfaces that we're doing when companies come in. And we can show them this is what's rolled in with this roller, that was rolled in with that roller. This is what happens when you hit it with a paintbrush. We have to show them all that. So you can say, okay, I can see, yeah, this you'll damage your screen when you do it. It has to be sprayed in. Now, reason why we do a multi-coat dusting application is because if you try to heavy coat it in to darken the screen faster, you can run into drip marks. You can run into all spools that pop up on your screen. All kinds of imperfections could pop up. First coat, let it dry. And this allows a person to be able to adjust how dark they want it, how light they want it. Some people don't want it super dark. Some people want it light enough that you can see objects on the other side like we have it right here. But you have to show a layer system, a multi-layer system, and how to apply it. That's why I said there's so much missing. When I was looking through the rear projection, it just said rear projection capabilities. Okay, so where's the rest of it? Let me see. Oh, no, you're not supposed to be there. I don't want to go and search. Get out of here. Darn it. Down here. There we go. So I'm going to pull up a white surface. So this is one of the things we do. You'll see me on camera when I do these things. And the first thing I do is I pull up a white screen. We pull up a white screen because we want to see what the transfer rate is, which means is any imperfection shows up, it's going to show up on that white surface. That's how we know that basically the screen is not a clean, it's not a clean spray, or maybe there's some problems with the formula or something like that. All right, let me go over here to clear this out. And now I've got microphones running through this thing, so we'll have to do it. This should pretty much activate it once I type it in. They're gonna make me work for it. They're gonna make me work for it. How dare they? How dare they make me work for it? Let me see. Maybe I should put the mics back on there to make it so much easier. Anything yet? Nope, won't give it to me yet. It's gonna make me work for it. Oh, there it is right there. I was like, wait a minute, we typed this in like a dozen times on here. So we hit the white screen. All right, now you're going to get the glare because the glare comes from off the projector, as I said before. What he didn't tell you that when you do screens, depending on how clear the image is, depends on what type of projector you're going to have to use for your demonstration. Because all of them are going to do this. They're going to have that glare. Now, if it's an ultra black surface, an ultra black surface is not going to show any glare whatsoever, as we showed you in the demonstration. It's going to be able to absorb that light. But if the light is clear, you have a more clear screen, then you're going to go through this. This is what you're going to see from the door. That's the problem you're going to have. That's why you use ultra short throw projectors, because they bounce off a mirror, or you use a lens shift projector and they put the projector up high so the image shifts down, so that lamp goes this way and the image goes that way, and that way you won't see any of that. That's another way to get around doing clear screens with high powered projectors, or basically using ultra short throws to cancel it out automatic because of the mirror system. Now, if it's a darker screen, well, it doesn't make a difference what you use because it absorbs it either way. So this is what I asked for in the transfer. So you see the transfer, the light moves back and forth. That means if it was hot spotting, it would be hot spotting in one section. But because I can move here, or I can go here, you can see there's a lamp from right there. Now you see right here, see the spots right there all over the screen? See that? That comes from hitting it with a roller. That's what a roller would do to your screen. That's what will happen. That's why you do not roll them in. And if someone sits there and says, oh, roll it in, no, they don't know what they're talking about. No one's ever rolled in a rear projection screen. Your roller, even when you stop, is going to leave a mark. Even with those little imperfect on the roller, like the nat rollers on it, that's not designed for basically using for stain paints and none of that. When you pull it off, you're still going to see those little marks. Even a sponge will leave marks. Nothing can touch the screen. The only thing works on that is paint sprayers. That's why they spray all of them in. All right. Oh, forgot this thing needs a charge. Cables and wires, wires and cables, cables and wires, cables and wires. Where are you plugged into? You're plugged into, oh, you're plugged in over there. I was like, we're plugged into absolutely nothing over here. So that's what comes behind that right there. I got to do a video called Explaining Rear Projection. I think we'll build a section on our site. We're turning the Crystal Edge into a information site. So we're building these pages that are coming in. There's pages on the rear projection screen. So instead of you going through the archives and trying to figure out, you can type in if you want, but we're just going to have a section for rear projection. We have a whole section for outside. We're just going to category all our videos so that way this will help you out a lot better. Right now we got a section that's showing you how to build all types of frames and stuff like that. So you can build all kinds of cool stuff from there. So let me go over here and get this real quick. All right, here we go. Yep. So again, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're doing because you very well, the surface, you can damage it. Now mind, this is a cheap surface. But imagine this surface at that size over there. You know how expensive that becomes? It gets very expensive. You damage that, you better have some kind of solution to remove it. If it's permanent, you're going to repay that. You're going to buy that surface all over again. Very expensive. All right, people, I don't make this video a very long video. We need to keep it short and sweet. Danny, as I said before, I'm not going to say please because I'm not going to tell you please. I'm not begging or nothing else whatsoever. You don't remove it. We just go and we file against you. That's all we do. I don't want to go do this at all, period. I would rather not do it at all. So I would advise if you would just take it off your site because if you can't back it up, it does not belong there. We all know that. There's no way to talk around that saying, well, there's no well to it. You have to be to back it up. If you can't back it up, remove it off the site. If you're not making stuff from other places and you're getting chemical, remove that. That has to go. Your rear projection capabilities, if you can't show that you can show a strong presence and information and knowledge on rear projection, like, I don't know, maybe show us about maybe 30 videos on this, inside, outside, all sorts of projectors, stuff like that. Show us something like that. Something to show that you have that knowledge and capability, because if not, you're going to have videos down there showing you can do this. All right, people, hope you enjoyed. You have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you all for your time. Be safe out there, and God bless.